This is Jabari K. Smith, and you're experiencing the professional athlete. Listen, y'all know I get excited about every interview I do, but this one is special because, I honestly feel that I found my lost sister. And the reason why is because we share literally the same principles, the same life calling. Like when we got on the phone and spoke for the first time, I was at work. I had to hurry up and get off because we would have just been talking forever. So I want to introduce you to author, speaker, and brand specialist, Miss Pasha Cook. What's going on?
What up? What up?
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram.
Exactly. So let's talk about Miss Pasha Cook. First of all, who is Pasha?
Well, I'm a survivor. I'm a hustler. I'm a grinder. I make it happen. But also, I'm a person that's connected to the spiritual side of myself, understanding that everything that I want, every vision that I have, is bigger than me. Mm-hmm. And so, because it's bigger than me, I have to really connect to the entity that's bigger than me, which is God for me. Not a religious thing, very spiritual. Understanding that if I connect to who I am, my truth, and that's what branding is for me. It's about connecting to your truth and displaying that to the world.
Absolutely.
And so we have to do that from the inside out. So when I work with people, we start with who are you first. Mm-hmm. Let's not try to look at everybody else, because everybody does that. Like, we see the lives on Instagram, all this kind of stuff, but we have to get connected to our truth. And so I had a journey, started playing basketball at 7 years old, thought that at that time, I'm telling my age, that I was just going to go to college or overseas. And then in 1997, the WNBA was launched, the We Got Next campaign.
Yeah.
At that time, I was a high school dropout.
Wow.
I lost my eligibility to play in the 11th grade because I was bounced around like house to house to house and lost my eligibility. So I lost hope. But by the time that the WNBA was launched, had some people that had my back saying, just go to school, and you can make it that way. I listened and got my first basketball scholarship at the age of 24.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay, so you took some time off, really?
Yeah.
How was it getting back into the groove of things?
I was scared as hell.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, I've been out of school 5-6 years. I don't know what my grades going to look like. And then I was going to school in Mississippi first.
Okay.
So eventually I played at University of Memphis, but I had to go to JUCO first.
Mm-hmm.
And leaving Texas and going to Mississippi, and then I watched like Mississippi burning and all this. I was like, why the hell did I do that?
Why am I here?
Yeah, because now I'm scared. But I was scared because I didn't know where I was as far as academics. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was still playing ball. I knew that.
Right.
I didn't know anything else, but I had to try it because they believed in me, so I had to learn how to believe in myself.
Exactly. So now that you're getting this second shot, and you talked about academics, and I know during that time we're all chasing professional, of course. Were you even thinking about a backup plan that time? So when it came to, choosing a degree, you knew what direction you wanted to go to?
Man, I had no idea.
Okay.
I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
You gave me this scholarship. I just want to play.
Just want to play ball, yeah.
That's it. So they chose education. And then when I transitioned on to University of Memphis, they chose my major, like a lot of coaches do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I thought I was going to be a trainer. And they was like, no, you're going into education. You got kinesiology.
Yeah.
How many players take kinesiology?
I'm telling you, listen, when I went to my 4-year college, I had two to choose from. It was human development, family studies, and another one is called like RIM, which stands for like hotel retail management. I'm like, what am I going to do with those degrees? I tried to take business marketing, and I was a junior college transfer just like you. And it was like, well, based off of the credits that you have, you're eligible to transfer over, but you don't have enough credits to graduate in time under your scholarship. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Well, I'm here to play ball at the end of the day, so you go ahead and take these rinky-dinky degrees. So,
right.
Yeah.
So I didn't think about a backup plan, but as I, got into the groove of things and passed and graduated from with my associate's degree and went on to University of Memphis, by the time I received that degree, I had a different mindset. I had a mindset shift because I had injuries.
Okay.
Of course, I had already had 2 shoulder surgeries. I had a meniscus tear with some bone chip behind that they had to clean up. Had an elbow surgery, and then after I graduated and I was preparing myself, I thought, for the league, because I had visited New York and said, I'm coming back to try out. I tore my ACL in a student faculty basketball game. And I was just like, dude, my body's tired now.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. And that's what scared me, because at that moment I knew I didn't have basketball anymore. And beyond that, I hadn't thought about anything else. So now that I lose this thing that I love, that I've been playing since I was 7 years old, that I thought was going to pave the way for me, and it did for college. But that degree and everything was for my parents. It was for my family. It wasn't for me, because I was a first-generation college graduate. And I was like, well, what is my life going to become? And so I went on this journey of trying to figure out what was next, because this is the thing about athletes, especially if you make it to the college level, collegiate level, or pro. You are some of the top athletes in the world to make it to college, just to college. We're not even talking about pro. And so once we put our mind to something, because we developed that mentality of self-motivation, determination, discipline, like all these things that transition or transfer over into
skills,
anything, right? Then I was able to put forth the effort in anything that I did and be above average.
Right.
So I was doing well in this, and then I get bored. Then I do well in that, and then I get bored. Then I do well in that. It's like, man, what is this? When am I going to find that thing that gave me the same feeling and desire and passion as basketball? So I was just searching.
Yeah.
Until 2013.
Okay. Walk us through that. But before we transition in 2013, I want the audience to really understand where you're coming from, because what you experience is similar to what I experience in millions others, and there's going to be millions others that's going to experience the exact same thing. So we really want our audience to understand that what they're going through and what they will go through is perfectly normal. I mean, not until I decided to make this decision as far as in educating student athletes, I had the same form of lack of discovery. I'm like, what else am I going to do that's going to get me just as charged up as I did running out of the tunnel? And it took trial and error, experience to be like, same thing what you're saying. How about I utilize all the experience that I've learned in this entire journey and transition it into my everyday life, which will help me become successful. So before you answer that other question, what were you going through mentally, emotionally, and even financially during that transition time when you had to really decide, like, okay, I can't play this sport anymore?
Mentally, I felt defeated a little bit, because, I mean, when you lose something you love, I mean, whether it's, I mean, I hate to equate it to a person, but it feels the same way. We go through depression, confusion, and then we've been hanging out with our basketball buddies all the time. So now you're saying, okay, you got to go into the real world. That's a little different, right? Because they become your family. And so I went through depression off and on. I went through anxiety, fear, like all those emotions that you go through as a human being when you're transitioning. Because change brings about anxiety, right? But we have to learn how to push through that anxiety, because on the other side of every fear is what could be. Right?
Yes, definitely.
And so I had to take that mindset. But I had people that were supporting me. So I had a former assistant principal of mine who took me home one day after some things happened with me, and she was there, and she's still there today. I call her my mother. So I had my mom and I had my mother.
Okay.
And her being a part of my life and just telling me, insisting on the power that I held on the inside of me. Insisting on the intellect that I held on the inside of me, being bigger than basketball, right? She kept pushing that, and I said, you know what? I got to believe somebody else.
Right.
I got to believe in somebody else's belief in me.
Right.
And so I just went for it, just like I did in basketball, and a lot of trial and error. Financially, it was in and out, but I was okay, because, again, when I took on a job, I was doing better than average, so it's like, okay, that's fine. But I was still, you know how they say money can't make you happy? If you're not doing what you love, it doesn't matter how much money you make. I was still miserable and still searching. Right. Like a soul search.
Right.
And eventually I found it. It found me.
I understand. Definitely understand that. So it's safe to say that athletes have to go through their 5 stages of grief as well, just like losing a loved one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did that process take you?
Am I still there?
I was about to say, it took me, I always say it took me 6 years, but I'm like, am I over the last stage? I'm like, every once in a while, I go back and forth with the self-doubt and the kind of question yourself, like, am I supposed to be doing this? So it's 6 years in running. I guess that's what I use. Yeah.
I say about 10.
Okay.
Honestly. Just going through school. Okay, I graduated. What am I doing now? Got these injuries. So your body, this is another thing about athletes. We are taught to push through pain.
Yeah.
mentally and physically.
And physically, yeah.
And so it's hard to gauge what pain you need to be pushing through once you're not on the court anymore or on the field, because I have all these injuries now that I wake up to every day.
Yep.
And I don't talk about them because we're just so used to pushing through, right? So that's another facet of your life that I think that a lot of us don't even talk about.
Yeah.
It's like those pains, when you had those trainers and people that can take care of you, they're not there now.
They're not there. Yes. Yes.
So how are you making it?
Yeah.
Because it's not just a mental thing at that point. But I came out of it, kept pushing, trying to figure things out. And in 2013, I went into the fashion industry. I went into luxury retail. I had started my own business, and I didn't want to keep pulling my money out of my savings. I work hard for that. So I was like, okay, I need to get a job, God, but I don't want a job in sales. And guess what? That's what came across my face. I was like, man, hold up.
You gotta learn how to sell.
I don't want this job. But I realized selling is not selling, it's building relationships.
Absolutely.
And so I was back home in Houston after being in Memphis for 8 years. It's like, I got to do something different. So New York came across my mind. I was like, okay, let me do some research. I researched the people that was doing the wardrobe styling for LeBron James and some people that I admired in sport. Found her, asked her for an internship. I'm 30. She's like, what? No. I kept going, being persistent. But finally, she gave me an internship. I didn't like it. She didn't offer me the job after my contract was over with. But she called me 2 months later saying, you know what? I thought about you for this gig. And I'm like, well, I need the money. I'm in New York. You know, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what is it? She said, I need you to present at the 2014 WNBA draft.
Whoa. That's big. that's
God was
huge.
like, you know what? You didn't get this as a player on the court, but you're going to get this as a player on the stage.
Yes, yes.
And so that created the journey that I'm on right now. And now I create educational content just like yourself to help other athletes to prepare before that transition, because it's important. Now, we have life skills programs. They do resumes, all that stuff. But I'm talking about real life.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a mindset shift.
Yep.
I'm talking about like things that are going to be tangible no matter what career you choose.
Yes.
That's what I want to teach them. And so now I've come out with Champs U, which is a book that really helps them for that. And now next month I'll be publishing my second workbook guide, Brand Yourself Like a Champion.
Okay.
Because branding is so important this day and age. And it's not just about your image.
Yeah.
It's about who are you?
Yes.
Quit looking at everybody else and trying to be like them. Who are you and what are you bringing to the table? Let's bring that person to the table and have a focus on what your strengths and your values are going to support.
Exactly. And speaking of branding, and before we go further into that, let's talk about athletic identity, because I know that's one. Hey, we on the same page here.
Absolutely.
Share your point of view when it comes to athletic identity, and also how you deal with it when educating these young student athletes.
Well, the thing about athletes, again, at the elite level, which I consider college.
Right.
Because, you have 500,000, boys basketball players playing in high school, and,
Right.
and by the time it's college, it's 17,000,
Yeah.
18,000.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's a huge transition.
It
Of
is.
players not making it to college.
Yeah.
And so you have to have this level of confidence. You have to have this level of cockiness, kind of, right?
Yeah.
To get to that level and to be good.
Right.
Not just great, but just to be
Be good, yeah.
And so we really, after you play a game since you were like 7 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, people start really early in sport. And you're telling us that we got to transition out in our 20s?
Yeah.
That's retirement.
And listen, if we would have studied medicine or law at that early age, we'd have had a 99% chance of being a judge or like
Right.
a top-notch surgeon or something like that. But when
Right.
it comes to sports, it's not up to us who makes it to the elite level or professional level, so I say.
Right. And so the transition out is tough.
Yeah.
Because you identify with that game you play more than anything else.
Yeah.
Your family's there if you're on on a team. Your focus is there because you got to be in the gym. Like Coach said, when you sleep, somebody's working. When you chilling, somebody's working.
Yep.
When you out here playing games, somebody's what?
Working.
Right. So you're always trying to work to get better so that you can have that leverage on the court. I wanted to get better.
Right.
So I'm playing all day long if I can. Those
Yep.
all day
Yep.
pickup games. And now we're saying, well, that's over.
Mm.
That's over. Like, what?
Yeah.
Man, and I was an older player because I went back to school
Yeah.
at 23.
Yeah.
Like, dang, what am I going to do? That's all I knew.
Yeah.
So my advice to them is understand that you are a multi-dimensional person. That is a great skill. Those are great skills you have in sport, but you're bigger than just that sport. You are a person. You may love some other things. You got to find your other passions. You have to be around other people that are outside of sport, because people are going to help you to guide you, going to help guide you to your purpose. People are going to support you. So people are a part of everything.
Correct.
So don't just be around people in sports. That's good.
Yeah.
But I had to learn how to get around people that's outside of sport, like people in corporate America. I had to get around people who were artists, people that, like, different people, to really start to tap into those other sides of me, those other things that were in me that I hadn't identified because I was always around sport.
Exactly.
So it's important for us to have a social life outside of sport.
Right.
While you're still playing.
While you're still playing. Yeah. A lot of kids that I mentor that are at the college level, I tell them the biggest mistake you can make while you're in college is not building meaningful relationships with people that don't look, act, or talk or walk like you, meaning, i.e., non-athletes.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in college, I would be walking on campus and people would just holler my name. Now, I was nice and friendly, but that was an opportunity for me to really make a relationship, because who knows where that could have built 10, 15 years from now. A lot of those people are managers and CEOs of their own company, but I didn't take advantage of those relationships. Yeah, I still have all of my athlete friends who are now coaching and things like that, but I'm not trying to be in that industry. I want to do something else, right? So it's like, where do you go? If you pick up the phone and dial 100 people and out of 150 of them are athletes, I mean, you just lowered your margin of people that you can know. So
limit yourself.
Yeah, you're limiting yourself.
Yeah.
So how do you get a player to identify who they are? Because that's what took me so long, is discovering who I am, the new Jabari Smith, and what's my purpose. How are you able to successfully get that out of these athletes?
I wrote 2 books. Boom.
Boom, there it is.
There it is. the books go walk you through it. So each one of their workbooks, each one of my workbooks always starts with who are you.
Okay.
Always takes you through that beginning stage of really starting to declutter and get focused on who you really are.
Okay.
Right? So I can sit up here and coach you, but I can't coach everyone. So I created these workbooks because I know that these things within this workbook I have experienced. They have helped me. I can only show you and tell you what helped me. I'm not anybody else out there.
Yeah.
They can show you what their experience, but I can only show you what has helped Pasha. And so for me, it was identifying who I am. Another thing was getting around, creating my circle of influence with strong, impactful, powerful, positive people. So that helped me too. I had to gauge and start to assess not only myself, but the people around me. Who's around me? Who do I need to outgrow?
Right.
Who have I already outgrown?
Right.
Because sometimes we don't want to let go.
Right.
If you're growing, you got to let go of some people.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, I have this big vision for my life, and here I am, but what got me here ain't going to get me there. So who do I need to become?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And the person I need to become is going to help other people to grow into my circle that are smarter than me, because you got to have some people in your circle smarter than you. That's going to elevate who I am, which will elevate my career, which will elevate my life.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Right.
So tell me, what are some of the tools and skills that you've mastered while you were an athlete that you use today that's helping you become a successful entrepreneur?
Man, determination.
Yeah.
Grit, self-motivation, discipline. So those things, communication as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Communicate. I'm a guard. Like, I'm short, so I got to be able to talk. You know what I'm saying? I got to be able to talk. Sometimes I had to talk you out your game.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
But those things were a part of sports that have contributed to my success. But the main two things that have contributed to my success outside of that is God, my spiritual life, and also people. When I started to outgrow people, it was painful, because some of these people I've been down with since I was 14, 15, 16, and I'm like, man, we grew up together. How am I going to let this person go? But when it's a choice between you and the rest of your life and the legacy you leave and somebody else, choose you.
Yes.
Right? You got to choose you. And so when I decided that I graduated, let me get this diploma to my aunt who I admired and never made it past just, freshman year in college. Let me get this other one to my mom who never got past her high school years, and my grandmother who had a 6th grade education. This is for you all.
Right.
Now let me figure out how to live my life. Because
Right.
the education part, I was kind of pushed into that. Like, you need to get
Right.
your education. Let me get this thing. If it's gonna play,
The
if I'm gonna
traditional
play ball.
road, the
Right.
traditional road to success. Go to school, get your education.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was just like, this is buying me time because
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to do besides basketball. But my advice to anyone, not just athletes, is you are going to have to outgrow some people. The people around you are going. If you can assess the people around you, and I'm sticking to this a lot because I think that people need to really hear this.
Okay.
Right. I started to understand that the people around me, when I was looking at them, they started to grow, and I'm like, ooh, this person really supports me for who I am. This person I can call at 3:00 in the morning if I have an issue. They go pick up the phone. This person over here is helping me and not asking for anything in return. Okay, that's a reflection of who you becoming.
Okay, I understand that. So it's just like in sports being on the right team.
Yeah.
And you, because you played guard, making everyone better. And, the one that can't rise to the occasion usually got to ride the bench or they can no longer hang out with you. Mm-hmm. So I got a question because people that are listening probably are like, okay, I understand that, but what if these people are family or your significant other? And another question may be like, do I have to move in order to, outgrow people or stay away from it?
Well, from my experience, I did move.
Okay.
It was a choice, but not because the people that were behind me, like, you going,
yeah,
you getting out of here.
Gotcha.
Because I was hanging around the same people doing the same thing. They said, when you return, they're gonna be doing the same thing. Guess what?
It was doing the same.
They was doing the same thing.
I experienced the same stuff.
I had to listen to somebody who had some life experiences, but beyond what I had.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Listen to the people who have gone before you.
Yeah.
And you're gonna skip over some things if you learn to listen.
Yeah.
And pay attention to what they've been through in their experience. Now you still have to have your own, but at least be open.
I understand.
Right. So if it is a family member, you can't. It depends, right? I say that you have to start to gauge how much time you spend with people. If you want to keep certain people around, you might can't spend every day talking to them on the phone.
Right.
Maybe not every week. And so let's talk about time a little bit.
Okay.
Right? Because time we don't get back.
Yeah.
Everybody's going for the money, the cars, and all this thing. Those things could be replaced.
Yeah.
Your time can never be replaced.
Absolutely. It's your most valuable asset.
Right?
Yep.
So you got to think about that when you're talking about these people. Maybe you need to limit your time with them. If it's somebody that you've outgrown but you don't want to let go of.
Yeah.
There's some people I outgrew that I haven't let go of, but I don't talk to them nearly as much as I used to.
Right.
Right? We spend some time, hey, I love you. What's going on? Everything good? How your mom doing? Okay. All right, but I was just checking in. Let's go.
Makes
That's
sense.
it.
Makes sense.
I still love you.
Yeah.
But I love me more.
Exactly.
And I love that I am connected to my purpose. I understand what that is, and I got clarity on that.
Right.
And my purpose is so much bigger than me.
Yeah.
So am I going to let 1, 2, 3, 4 people keep me from helping maybe possibly hundreds, thousands of people with my calling?
Right.
So
Totally
I can't be
understand.
like, oh, well, this is how I feel. It's bigger than me.
I heard you a few times talk about stepping outside your comfort zone. And that's something that I also, swear by. I use the term being comfortably uncomfortable because my sport of football, I was a cornerback. And being a cornerback, we were always in vulnerable positions to get scored on.
Okay.
So you had to be comfortable in that uncomfortable environment. So being uncomfortable or stepping outside your comfort zone, share some of the tricks and tools that you use in order to strengthen that muscle.
Well, I started to make it a game,
Mm.
right? Because fear creeps up on you all the time. I won't say daily. I mean, sometimes it's daily. But I started to create a game. That was most recently, though.
Okay.
I created a game like, oh, okay, let's see what the lesson is. Let's
Yeah.
see like now it becomes a game because I realized that so many things that we have feared, once you get through them, you're like, man, I was tripping.
Mhm.
Have you ever had that feeling like
Yeah.
you really like have all this anxiety around something, and then when it's over with, you're like, man, I was just tripping.
I was tripping for nothing. Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
I was just tripping, right? So I grew my muscle by just pushing through. Sometimes I couldn't push through myself, so I had to listen to someone else. Be like, man, you got this, or you can do this.
Mhm.
And you have to have people around you that you know, like, and trust. Because we love people, but do you like them? Do you trust?
Do you
what
trust them? Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like, do you trust what they say? Do you trust that they have your best interest at heart? People go. don't pay attention to what people say.
Right.
Pay attention to what they do.
What they do, yeah.
Especially when you have nothing to offer them at the time. That's when you know. I told this story about me and my cousin Clark.
That's
so
some
I was
wisdom
a
right here.
I was a tomboy, right? I know y'all can't believe that, but I was a tomboy, and so my cousin Clark had this stunt team, nothing but boys.
Yeah.
And of course I go to the court every day. I'm playing with boys. I'm playing with men.
Yeah.
I mean, they would knock me down because I was faster than them. So you know how how y'all can be sometimes.
We get mad because they beating us, so
I'm
we want to be aggressive. Yeah.
Like I used to get beat up. So my cousin Clark had this this stunt team. Man, they would be on top of the buildings flipping off. I'm like, man, these girls sitting on the sideline. I don't like sitting on the sideline at all. Period. So I'm like, I'm hanging with them. We jumping fences and stuff like that. And you know I'm not as strong as them, right?
Right.
So we running, and we had these wood fences, the 6 feet wood fences that we would jump over sometimes. Well, I couldn't. So they're running, just running. And my cousin Clark go over, somebody else go over. I run up there. I'm like, okay, I'm going to come back down. Let me back up. Let me back up a little bit. I'm bagged up, and I'm running. I get it. I can see, but I can see. I just can't get over it. And they saw me finally. They noticed I wasn't behind them. So they came back, jumped back over the fence, and it was like, okay, we got a plan.
Right.
This is what we're going to do. You're going to run, and we're going to put our hands out like this, and you're just going to, like, hit it with your feet.
Sprint,
hit, and then you jump, and they go push you over, right?
Oh, okay.
I ain't going to tell you how I landed, but anyway.
That was going to be the next question. Like, how high did they spring you up, right?
I probably got scraped up and all kind of stuff. I don't remember. Look, I'm selective amnesia.
Right, what happened after that is a different story, right?
What happened stays there.
Exactly.
I made it over the fence. And then they jumped over the fence. And you got to have people in your life that are willing to come back over the fence and get you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they could have kept going.
Yeah.
But you got to have the people that are willing to say, you know what? I know you're not strong enough yet. I may be stronger than you. I may have more experience than you right now. But I see something in you. And I know that you are worthy. Right? Because sometimes we don't even feel worthy, but we got to have some people that see the worthiness in us, see the strength in us, see the empowerment in us, and they believe in us. So they came back over the fence, and I have those type of people in my life now. Now, this is the thing. Sometimes when those people come into your life, your circle gets smaller.
Okay.
It gets smaller, but it gets stronger.
Okay.
Right? And that's what you got to, like, you got to have people in your life that are willing to help you over the humps, the fences in your life.
Got you. So your support system, every once in a while you may get some new people in your life, but the ones that's really there to support and help you and hold you accountable, those are people that we must retain, correct?
You said the magic word. We haven't even talked about accountability yet.
Let's talk about it then.
That don't feel too good.
People don't want to be accountable. Let's talk about that.
Just tell me what I want to hear.
What I want to hear. Yeah. See, as athletes, we had to always be accountable because we had not only our coaches on us, if our parents were spectators, we had that. We had our peers. Not to mention, we had the spectators, the crowd. So it's like every day we had to look ourselves in the mirror, and maybe that's why we have built that system to always be accountable. Like a lot of people, my close friends and my family, they said I'm more harder on myself than they are on me or others are, and I'm like, well, I adapted that over my playing years. What's your take on that?
Same thing. Sometimes people were telling me that I was working too hard, you're doing too much, and one time I bought into that. I was like, man, am I doing too much? And then I had to get the confidence to say, at least I'm not standing still. Yeah. Waiting.
Yeah.
Like, some people pray and they wait.
Yeah, pray and they wait, yeah.
Ain't no waiting.
Yeah.
Faith without works is dead.
Exactly.
So you got to get out there and try to make it happen. And I have been scattered brain. I started things with no idea. I've lost a lot of money. A lot of losses, a lot of failures, but I was always failing forward. And so with the accountability, you have to have people around you that hold you accountable, not to what they see, but what is inside of you. That's a difference.
Okay.
Because I can't see what's on the inside of you. It's an energy.
Yeah.
It's people getting to know you, right?
Right.
And understand that there's much bigger, you're much more powerful on the inside than what you show on the outside most of the time.
Right.
Right? So you got to have those people that hold you accountable to who you can be, not just who you are.
Now, do you find those people or those people kind of find you? How does that work?
Both.
Outside of like parents, of course.
Both.
Both? Okay.
Both. So the more you grow and you connect to your truth, the more you work on your personal development, the more you work on those things, what happens is your energy level changes. Your mindset changes. And so when your mindset changes, one of the most painful things that have happened in my life is to see like the shift, right? I'm happy that my mind is changing, but then I start to identify people who are just plain average every day. And it's just like, dang, y'all don't
get it. Right. And it's frustrating.
And it's frustrating. And you want to help everybody. You want everybody to grow with you, but it's like everybody ain't not ready. So, and I'm going biblical again with you. Les Brown told me about this. He mentioned this to me. Jesus said there will always be poor amongst you. That's a mentally poor attitude. Some people rather complain than to do something about it. So you're always going to have people who say but not do, who complain but not do, right? And so when I started to see that, I'm a doer. So I'll leave you behind. I'm sorry.
Right.
And, you know, some people have gotten upset about, I mean, the friends I have now, I don't have that problem. But it's just one of those things. You just have to choose ye first.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
And have people that are willing to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I want to touch on, and if you can recall, I know you've worked with many people so far, but if you can kind of share a success story of an individual or two that you've worked with that you helped build.
A success story of somebody that I work with. Kids every day. So, okay, in education, I'm currently working with at-risk young adults in Brownsville, New York, which is considered one of the most dangerous places in America.
Wow.
Right? And so we have students there that are overage and undercredited.
Okay.
Right? So I had this young lady who was missing 30, 60 days of school at a time. She'll come in and then we just don't see her. And so it was just tough just trying to get a hold of her. But finally, she would come in 1 month. There she is. We have a conversation. Then she might come in. It might be 2 weeks. She'll come in. We have a conversation. And I started to build a trusting relationship with her because what happened was she was like a lot of the other students so used to people making empty promises.
Yeah.
So used to people pointing out their deficiencies. So used to people not holding their word, like not being accountable for their word, not honoring their word. And so I had to build that trust with her. By the end of that year, now this girl was behind in school, as you probably already can
right.
imagine.
Yeah, she missing 60 days at a time. Yeah, definitely.
She graduated.
Whoa.
She graduated after being that far behind. She had to do extra work. She had to check in with me when she came, and just to see that hope, instilling that hope in just one individual, it ended up like pouring out into others and others and others, and this is the thing to who much is given, much is required. So once you start to affect someone else's life, you're accountable for that.
Right. What do you think ignited that flame for her to just, do a whole 360 and just go for it?
I was transparent with her. I told her my story. You're in the 12th grade. I never made it there. But I'm an international author.
Right.
I'm an international speaker. I'm in rooms with CEOs. I'm in corporate America. And this is not bragging.
No.
I'm saying you are ahead of the race. You are ahead of where I was.
Right.
So if I can be here, you could surpass me.
That makes sense.
And just being transparent. This is the thing. People are tired of fake. Right?
Yeah.
On the internet, all you see is 7 ways to do this, 5 ways to do that. The miracle overnight solution.
Where's the tangible?
Like,
where's the tangible? Yes.
Oh, yes. You just pray about it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, where's the work?
Yeah.
Show me. Please guide me through the steps on how you got there. That's what people want to know. They want to know how you struggled and how you came through, how you grew through something.
Yeah.
Don't just show them the limelight. Like I can come in here and be like, okay, this is my resume. This is all the things I've done. I'm a high school dropout. I've been in trouble with the law, like at 16, 17 years old, because my mom was in and out of prison until 6 months before I graduated from college. Mind you, I went to college late, right? Just a lot of deaths in my. It was so much that happened in my life, and I used to ask why me. Now I know it is my why.
Got you. So wait, you used to ask why me. Now you know
It's my why.
It is your why. Got you.
My why is to change the trajectory not only of my life, because if I change the trajectory of my life, then I can teach other people how to change the trajectory of their lives. And then it changes the trajectory of my family legacy.
Got you.
Right?
Yeah.
And so my why, me, became, this is your why. You had to go through all of this to have the experience to connect with someone who feels hopeless, because at one point you did.
Yeah.
To be that person to say, I believe in you, you can do it because somebody did it for you.
Right.
So my motto that I stick by, my motto is, we must lift as we climb, period.
Okay.
We must lift as we climb. As you climb,
Bring
lift somebody up.
Yeah.
And that person will do what?
Bring somebody up.
And then we create this chain reaction that can span across the globe.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
It's not just about me.
Right.
Right?
That makes sense. That's how you create the web. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got 2 more questions for you because I know you got to cut out. You got a flight.
All right.
The first one is, you being where you're at right now, you've been affecting and impacting so many people.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that still keep you up at night?
Oh, man. My dreams. It's so much I want to accomplish. It's so much I want to do. And honestly, my fear is I got a late start. So I'm always, like, I'm in this mindset that I'm still running behind. Still. Like, I'm always trying to chase the dream. I'm running behind. Like, I started this late.
Yeah.
I started this late. So what keeps me up at night is, like, man, just the thought of, what am I... Let me go back. Nothing really keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
But my mindset is, I want to die empty. And what I mean by that is not exhausted. I don't want to exhaust myself, because we do that. That's easy, right? I want to die empty. Everything that is in me that God has placed in me, I want to give it to the world, because that's how you create legacy. And legacy, to me, isn't a selfish thing. It's saying you're leaving a mark. You're leaving people or the world better than you found it.
Right.
And that's all I want to do. So it doesn't keep me up at night. When I'm up at night, it's because I'm traveling, my sleep patterns off, something like that. But I don't do the worrying I used to.
But we share this exact same urgency. Like, I feel that I'm playing catch up. And my biggest fear, and I call it a fear, is leaving this earth and not maximizing my full potential and what I need to give this world. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's why I have this sense of urgency. Like, now let's do it. Let's impact. If we make mistakes, we'll correct it. We'll be all right. So I told you we got so much in common.
Service, baby.
Exactly.
You got. If you're not serving, you're not doing nothing.
You're not doing nothing.
Right.
My last question for you is, what would you tell the 16-year-old Pasha?
That's a good one. Why you come up with that? Don't get all sentimental.
I'm sorry.
The 16-year-old Pasha. Stop worrying about the life that you see before you and start creating the life that you want in front of you. Like, don't worry about the family that you were born into. Don't worry about the environment that you're in. All you have to do is connect to your imagination and start to believe in that thing and anything that you see fit that aligns with your truth now. Because they say you can do anything, but if you're not aligned with your truth, you can't.
Can't do it.
You're going to get exhausted.
Exactly.
Because you're going to be trying to live somebody else's life. So I would tell her that I love you, I believe in you, and that by the time you get to your deathbed, you're going to change not only your life, you're going to change your mother's life, you're going to change your family's life, and you're going to change the lives of people around you. Because everything that you're going through right now, little lady, is for a purpose. Because you were kept on purpose, for a purpose, and you will fulfill that purpose. And understanding that purpose is dynamic. So your purpose at 16 is different than your purpose at 20 or at 30 or 40 or 50. It's dynamic.
Right.
Right? So I would just tell her to keep going and keep believing.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, before we let you go, let everyone know, where can they find you? Where can they go and order your books? They want to book you to come speak, because I know y'all want to hear her come speak. Because right now, like I'm inspired, and I'm the person that inspires people. So yeah, let them know where they can find you.
So you can find me on my website at pashacook.com. That is P as in Paul, ASHACOOK.com. or Google me, Pasha Cook. I'm all over the place.
That's what I'm talking about. She said Google it.
I'm on Instagram. You know what? Follow me on Instagram because I don't do too much Twitter and all that kind of stuff. Follow me on Instagram or go to my website. But if you want to book me to speak, let's get it. Let's get it.
There it is, y'all. Pasha, it was a pleasure having you as a guest. That's definitely, I consider you family. This Absolutely. Is there needs to be more people like you and myself that are advocates when it comes to athletes and having a successful transition for life after sports, but most importantly, identifying who they are so that they can maximize their full potential.
Absolutely.
So that's my time, y'all. Until next time. Stay positive, stay productive, stay in the presence. Hey, let me give y'all one other thing. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at Jabari_K_Smith. And same thing with Twitter, as well as go check out my platform, theprofessionalathlete.com, where you'll be able to see interviews such as the one I just did with Pasha and more. And also get the book, Life's Playbook, 11 Plays to Success. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy.
Peace.
Peace. That was great.
You like that?
Yeah. You want me to help you save it?
Yep.
Oh, shoot, I forgot to take this thing.
I know, right? We all wired up.